Everybody. Welcome everybody to Notary Stars Unlimited. Two quick things. There seems to be something of a system glitch. There's a lot of Ronnie Nichols logged in. So if you will turn on your camera, we like it that way anyway, because we can see you and it makes for a better experience. Turn on your camera so you recognize yourself and you can change your name tag to what the name is that you actually are. Look at all of those smiling faces. That's lovely. So several of you have a name tag that I can see that says Ronnie Nichols. So find your picture on the gallery. Change your name tag if you know how to do that so that it reads the correct person. That would be lovely. And keep your cameras on. We like it. Okay. One quick note though, if you're driving and in listening mode only, keep your camera off and be safe while you're on the road. So today is July 20th, 2022, and this is a once a month free event hosted by Notary Stars and Unlimited Ink Notary. My name is Beth Hathoot and I'm an instructor for Notary Stars. Today's episode is titled Teamwork. Fellow notaries can be colleagues or competitors. It's your choice. This makes our 7th installment of the series. And if you missed any of the previous sessions, feel free to visit the replays on www.notarystars.com/unlimited. Or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel where any of the free events that we post will notify you immediately upon release. Okay, please note, these sessions are planned to kind of fit into where you are with your business at this point in the year. Right now, interest rates are rising and some of you may no longer be able to survive with all of your business expenses. So we're looking for ways to get more business and cut our expenses. Before we get started, I just want to give you a couple of quick reminders. If you're interested in learning about Ron, we're now training on it at Notary Stars, and it's included in the Notary Star level membership and higher. So if you're not already a member, log on there, upgrade to one of the Notary Star levels so you'll have access to that Ron training as well. And finally, Notary Stars has developed and launched a new directory. It's www.onlinenotoriespublic.com. If you're a Ron notary and you're entirely set up and ready to go, we're going to help you find more work as a Ron notary. So register to have a profile or a listing on onlinenotoriespublic.com. And listen, guys, you have to know that if Ronnie developed this site, that SEO for the site is super optimized for maximum visibility in online searches. So I guarantee you, you'll get found. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with Ronnie Nichols, the original owner of Notary Stars and Unlimited Ink Notaries, for some valuable insight on tonight's topic. It might change how you develop your relationships. Mr. Ronnie, take it away.
All right, everybody. So I want to say thank you for tuning in. I know that you guys that follow Notary Stars regularly, there's a lot. Like we bring a lot of information to the table and you probably get sick of us sometimes like, oh God, Ronnie, shut up. But I promise you tonight's topic, it can sound a little cheesy. But if you if you're able to do this, it won't be cheesy. I'm not a cheesy guy. I'm just going to let you know, outside of work, I drink whiskey, smoke cigarettes, hang out with the cool kids. I'm not one that's like, oh yeah, I want to form a group. So if you feel that way, if you feel like, oh, I'm just tuning in because I want to get something out of it, this is for the cool kids and for the not cool kids. Anybody can do this. Okay. In fact, all of you are here right now because of this topic. And everybody watching the replay is here because of this topic. My companies, Unlimited Ink and Notary Stars, are both here because of this topic. Okay. So it's actually a very serious topic, but it's not, it can sound so cheesy. Teamwork. Oh, we hear teamwork all the time. But let me explain. Okay. The first thing that I want you to know is that going into the idea of teamwork is you have to completely avoid the negative. I know a lot of you go out there and get on Facebook and you get into groups and you start hearing other notaries complain about how it's slow and about how it's, this company lowballed me, and they complain. And I'm going to tell you right now, avoid the negative. When you see a negative comment, anything that's negative, I don't want to sound like a shaman or the secret or any of those things, but avoid the negative. I had to learn this about 7 years ago. And Miss Beth will tell you, when she sends me something that I may not want to hear, I say, I can't right now. I can't. And I'm sure at the end of my life, I'll go through those chapters of those books of things I didn't want to hear and read them all before I die. But right now we have to live and survive. So the first key to formulating a team is to avoid the negative. Nobody wants to work with a negative person, right? You don't want to work with a negative person. You don't want to work with a negative company. You don't want to work in a negative mindset. So you start by avoiding all of those negative comments. Now you can avoid them, but at the same time, listen to them. This is where it all started for me when I learned to do this. Okay. I stopped, and you guys have heard the story about how Notary Stars were born. And if you haven't, one night about 10:30, after some whiskey at the pool with some neighbors, I posted on a Facebook group. I said, wouldn't it be nice if we had a directory that after actually offered training, had live, whatever, everything that we are today? I said, wouldn't it be nice if we had that? And it was affordable. Boy, when I woke up in the morning, you thought I would have, been Roseanne Barr or something. Who do you think you are? We already have 123 Notary. We already have this. Why would you do this? I literally, if somebody can find that post, because I didn't delete it, I would love to see it, because it was so much that I almost didn't go to work that day. It was really bad. So I stopped listening, and I was already doing what I'm going to be teaching you tonight, but nobody had known or heard of me yet outside of my circle. And it kind of hurt my feelings, but you live and you learn and you keep going. I always say Notary Stars should have been here 6 or 7 years ago, not 3 years ago, or a little over 3 now. I started listening instead of reading and accepting, just listening. And when I saw a notary complain about how a company lowballs them, I thought, I'll take your orders. And you guys have heard me say that before. I'll take your orders. I'll fill up my calendar. I'm going to be stronger than you. And when they say, oh, they never pick up the phone. Okay, great. I'll learn more. I'll figure out how I don't need to call somebody to help me with my order. I started telling myself, when they said, oh, I hate that they always send the order when it's crossed out, I'll get a mobile printer. I'll get a mobile scanner. We've gone down that road, but I want to reiterate that listening is still okay. It's just you can't let it get into your skin and your mentality. And Maya Angelou has a quote, and I don't know it verbatim. If somebody can look it up or knows it and post it in chat, that'd be great. But there's a quote that says, be careful about words. They get into the fibers of your clothes. They come home with you. They get in your curtains. They live with you. So you have to be careful about everything that you're subjecting yourself to. That is the first mentality of teamwork. So before any of you take what I'm going to teach you tonight, should you so choose to and implement it, I want you to know that you have to clear your mind. You have to open your heart and clear your mind to, somebody just posted it. I just want to take a minute to read it. It says, words are things. You must be careful about calling people out of their names, using racial prerogatives and sexual prerogatives and all that ignorance. Don't do that. Someday we'll be able to measure the power of words. I think they are things. They get into the walls. They get in your wallpaper. They get in your rugs and your upholstery, in your clothes, and finally into you. So that's the quote that I paraphrased earlier. Thank you, Jennifer Schmidt, for posting that. I've always thought about that when it comes to building a team. And you all know Maya Angelou was one of the greatest poets of all time. Probably one of the best people of all time. She was beyond us. I hope she's looking down on us right now. But you can still listen. Life is like a wine tasting. When you go to a wine tasting, you're not supposed to swallow. They taught me that when you go to a wine country, you're actually supposed to swish it around and spit it back out. And that's what you need to do with all of these comments. You swish it around, but you don't swallow. Okay. You're to develop your own person and your own way of being. So how do you start formulating a team, and why is it beneficial? And I am looking down at notes, but I promise you I've got this by heart because it's my life story at this moment. First of all, the internet can bring us together. I know I just said avoid the negative, and I gave a negative connotation on everything, but I want to let you know the internet also brings us closer together if we use it wisely. So you can use Facebook groups, you can use meetups. These are two really great things to do. I actually just signed up for Meetup because I'm thinking about doing the first small, and please don't write me tomorrow and say when you're going to do it, but I'm thinking about doing the first small meetup in Arizona just to test it out with Notary Stars. And then I'll work on other cities as well, but don't wait for me. And I always, I just told this to the current person in my life, don't wait for me. You should start your own meetup. You should start your own Facebook group or look for one. There's going to be two types of notaries out there, and this is okay. Britney Spears says it best in the circus song. There are two types of people in the world: those who entertain and those who come to the concert. I'm paraphrasing there too because I don't know everything about Britney Spears, but there are two types. There are people who follow, and there are people who lead. So if you're a leader, start the group. If you're a follower, look for the group. If you're a follower, encourage someone that you think is a leader to start the group. And what do I mean by a group? For all of you listening, unless you want to become a local signing agency or a national signing agency, I mean someone in your city. You want to start formulating people that you can network with and start looking at what talents they have. And I'm going to get into the word talent in a moment. And I promise you this, it will work for you if you actually put it together properly. I want to use husband and wife teams as an example, okay, to lead into everything tonight. So I have always found in any market that we work in at Unlimited that husband and wife teams are the most successful. And you got to start asking yourself why. Well, there's a lot of reasons, okay? A husband and wife team, they only need one website. They only need, they share their phone lines. They can schedule for each other. They can bounce orders back and forth. They get to know their signing agencies and say, hey, I'm not available, but so-and-so's available. Sometimes they pick up the phone for each other, but it doesn't have to be just husband and wife teams. I'm single, and when I started this company, I was single. I did get married for a little while. Thank God I'm divorced. But and I hope that he's watching this replay. But I know that when I started this company, that I looked for people that I could trust, and I started interviewing them. And this is a major point that I want to instill in you guys. When you're ready to start formulating a team, if you're not a husband and wife team, you want to have a team, you start with one person and you interview them. And do not take this lightly. You are a business owner. Before there was Unlimited Ink and Notary Stars, there was Ronnie Mickle. And if you wanted to work with Ronnie Mickle, I could be your friend all day long. We could like each other all day long, but I needed to get something from you. That is what a team is. A team divides up skills that they don't have. Okay. So when I was looking for a team, I still remember I brought one of the notaries in, and I said, I need you to do a mock signing with me so that I can see that you are able to do it. Then we started talking, and then I realized, wow, they know how to make business cards and resumes. And actually, all of the things I know about, I never heard of Canva. All of those things started unfolding before my eyes, and they were good at it. And I'm really good at walking in and getting a title agency. If I walk in my tie and suit and give my spiel, we grow by about a client a week at Unlimited Ink. And we've got great account reps now that I don't have to do that, and I help groom them, and I'm learning things from them. But I started interviewing people that I wanted to be a part of my circle or teamwork. Okay. It wasn't cheesy to me at the time. Going back to the way I opened this up, it can feel a little cheesy, like, oh, we're going to formulate a team. No, you're going to divide and conquer. You know, if it feels cheesy to you, look at it like a war. You've got to win. And you want to interview people that you want to work with. And I would bring people in, and I started learning that people were good at walking in and getting business. Some people were terrified of it. So one person was good at making business cards, but there's so much more that you can do with a team. I want to use some examples of cutting costs. Okay. Your marketing dollars for direct business and for general notary work, you guys can have one single website. Miss Beth, I helped her redo her website recently, and her initial website is a really great example of tonight. When you went to that website, it showed all of the notaries that worked with Miss Beth and what areas of town that they covered. You're able to take a single website, and every single person on that team can have one landing page, and it will not cost you any more than it cost you for the one website. So you're cutting costs down for everybody paying all those hosting fees, all those, website fees. If one of you in the group is really good at creating a website, especially if you take my marketing course, I can help you with that. You're cutting the cost on just the website alone. Phone lines, or answering services. One thing that we did was sometimes we would forward our phones to each other. Like one of us would be available on a Friday night while all of us were out doing something. Or Sundays, we would say, hey, I'll take the phones. We divided and conquered, so none of us would miss a call. You can have one phone line that forwards to everybody's cell phone. There's a lot of power in having a group of numbers. And when I say formulating a team, to me, the idea of a team is no less than 3 and no more than 10. And that might seem like a large number unless you want to become a signing agency. And the way that I worked with Unlimited Ink, I did this in California and Arizona, by the way. Arizona was the most successful. LA has a lot of problems in itself when it comes to just geographics and all those things. And I'm not saying there won't be hurdles, but for instance, in Phoenix, it was extremely easy. We divided the city like a piece of pie. If you are in this region, these are your orders. If you are in these region, these are your orders. It was all coming from our local business, and there were 8 of us. And we divided and conquered. Everybody had a special skill. Sometimes there were conversations, and I will tell you, expect disappointments. There will be people of the members of the team that don't ante up. And like any business, you will have to have meetings behind closed doors and say, we have to let this person go, even if you love them. There will be people that won't pull their weight, that are benefiting from the group more than you think. And take from my experience, interview carefully and understand that you are going to choose some wrong people to work with from time to time. And as a business owner, that is a risk you take when formulating a team. But I will tell you, I cannot imagine my life now had I not formulated a team of notaries. And it took me 6 years to get to that level and another 6 years to get to where I'm at today. You can curve a lot of learning, training, if you formulate a team, and you don't have to develop into a signing agency. It can just be your group of notaries. I don't want to steal from other people's, but someone mentioned to me, I wasn't at this thing, but I think someone told me at another training course, they said, you only need one good client. And I've said something similar to that. But if you're a group of notaries that get one title agency, you really only need 1 or 2 clients to keep you busy. You get the direct business. If you do the file, you get paid. They still pay you directly. But sometimes if they call you and you don't answer the phone, they have to call another notary. But if they got 5 of you and only one of you picks up the phone and you're sharing that phone line with something like Google Voice where it rings all of you and you just take the order and you're like, great, one of us will do it. You can share your calendars to each other. This is all stuff that can be easily done. It's a little legwork, I'm not gonna lie, like sharing calendars, making sure you have the phone line set up. I don't want to say that this is so easy that you can just pop your fingers and it'll be working tomorrow. No, it probably can take a couple of months set up with finding the right people, getting the phone line set up, making sure you understand all of you, what you're doing, how you're going to conquer, what your skill sets are, and what you can do. And what I want to encourage you to do is when you think about formulating the team, if you're one of those leaders, think about all of the assets that you need. You need marketing. You need people that are not afraid to walk in and get the business. You need people that will answer the phone. Whatever skill sets you need to write them down and try to put everybody into having one or two skill sets. Think about your skill sets. And if you're not a leader, think about what you can offer someone else's group. And that goes back to just what I talked about the other day when I said that don't call somebody and say, do you have business or can I work with you? Ask them, how can I help you? Develop your skill sets that you can do for a group or a team, and be ready to tell a group or a team that is formulating or happening what you can do for them. If you're good at Canva or you like to make Instagram posts or what have you, there's so many things that you can divide up. You can divide up social media. You can divide up marketing. Again, you want to be able to divide and conquer. I want to talk a little bit more about when I started Unlimited Ink Notary, because I think that this is a really great example for formulating a team. And then I would love to hear from some of you guys. When I first moved to Arizona, I was new and fresh in the market. I didn't have my LA business with me. I came over here for a new client that was getting off the ground. It was a huge risk in my life. I didn't know anyone, but while I was here, things started really unfolding. I was in Arizona when I posted that Facebook post that I told you about earlier. And I wasn't very welcomed into the community of notaries. People didn't because in LA, I have to tell you, and anybody that lives in California, you probably know how to get up and move like fast. Or if you're in Washington, like when you're living in Los Angeles, if you have to be somewhere at 7 a.m., you need to leave at like 5:45. And you have to get through something quickly if you have another signing across town, because you're going to need that hour to get across town. Whereas in Arizona, I felt like when I first moved here, I was kind of running circles. I got here, you should see my driver's license. I look like crap. I drove in, went straight to the DMV, got my driver's license, was at the Secretary of State's office the next morning, and had my notary commission and was ready to roll within a week here, because back then you could walk in and do everything. I remember signing my notary bond outside of a UPS store on the hood of a car, because I'd already done it several times in California, once in Florida, and then I was moving here to Arizona. I had all of that down. I set up all my listings. And I did reach out to other notaries because I had the same thing in California on a smaller level, but it took a while in Arizona. I got my mobile printer. That's when I developed the whole mobile printer thing. And I was starting to compete with other notaries. And then I started meeting notaries that I couldn't manage all that I built up in very short time in Arizona from this new client. And I started having to bring notaries in. And that's when I learned about interviewing for talents. The first notary that I worked with, God, I wish I could say his name, but I'm going to be respectful. And I'm going to tell you, that's where I said, learn to accept you're going to make mistakes. The very first notary with my client started sleeping with the branch manager, and then decided that they were going to overthrow and take all the business and give it all their friends. And that ended with a nice little smile in the parking lot saying, you will regret this. And I hope they enjoy their job at the Amazon warehouse now, because I won. Kindness and working hard and showing your clients that you will prevail and that you will be professional. I almost lost my very first big account because of that. You will make mistakes. He seemed like a very nice guy, but he wasn't. And then I started formulating more people. And I'll tell you, I got really lucky. I had 8 people that by the time we really became Unlimited Inc. before we went nationwide, we were just controlling the state of Arizona at the time. And I still had my business over in LA, but I wasn't nationwide. And we were so afraid. I used to tell them, the group, I was kind of the leader of the group. And we would only bring in someone when we absolutely had to. There were times where it was like Friday night, we would all be about to take that first drink, and then we'd get an order like around 4:30. We thought it was over, and we like, who's gonna take this one? Who's leaving tacos? And we would tell ourselves we can either, because we had the management platform that we have now, we would tell ourselves we can either take this, one of us can leave and take this order, and we can keep this business to ourselves while we have it and protect it, or we can invite another notary in. But the rule was, once we invited another notary in, they stayed. That was just how it worked. We would find that notary, get them scheduled, as long as they had something to offer the group. And we just kept growing the group that way. And there were times where we would see a huge increase of orders for one reason or another. There was no pandemic then. We don't know why it increased. Maybe they were doing the marketing. But we would bring in one notary at a time and grow our circle. And, that's the point where somebody in the group may say, hey, maybe we should turn this into a signing agency. But getting back to our topic for tonight is you really have a choice. You can either work with notaries in your area, which really bodes well for anybody who decides to do that, or you can decide to make them competitors. You're spending more money competing with them. You're constantly losing business to them and getting it back. Or you can decide behind closed doors, and this is the same thing that cable companies do. They get behind closed doors and they say, hey, we really want all the business in this community. How can we do it? You're going to take this zip code, I'm going to take this zip code. And if you don't believe that happens, that's actually true. There are really no competitive cable companies out there. No one's really better than anything. They just decide that they're going to, operate this way. You can do the same thing. You can really lock down your city. And maybe if you're in a large city, you need 10. If you're in a smaller city, maybe you need 5. But if you work together, and you don't have to like the people that you work with, honestly. Out of our 8 people, I loved all of them. I would give I wouldn't say give my life for all of them. I'd take a bullet as long as it was in the shoulder or the leg for most of them. But you don't have to love everybody that you work with, because a team is about things that you can't do, working together. And so you want to be able to get along with them, but you may have people that you just they don't rub you the right way, but dang, can they create company resumes or build websites and all of that stuff, and love them for what you can work with them for. We live in such a, I call it a lone wolf industry at times. And we can really get in our heads and think, well, this is the way I run my business. But I have to tell you, you have to learn to play in the sandbox well with others. A lot of us here, and I want to be very careful for this, we're either tired of corporate America or didn't fit into corporate America, and we decided to do this. Some of us retired from corporate America and started doing it, but we get into this one person universe. And that is harder than creating a team, and you don't have to schedule for each other. You can decide what you're comfortable with. But I will tell you that formulating a team is probably one of the best things that you can do to grow your notary business. I want to see if we have any questions now, or Miss Beth, do you have anything to add on formulating a team?
I don't have anything on formulating a team. I mean, I agree with everything you are saying. You have to, you thought you were going to be your own boss, and yet now you still have to associate with and coordinate with and play well in the sandbox with other notaries if you want to be successful. And it's always good to have a backup. Listen, I have backup printers. I have a backup printer for my backup printer, right? I have backup phones. I have backup everything. Why not a backup notary colleague? Just makes sense. Amy Seitz did post in the chat that having a notary colleague relationship with notaries across the US is valuable when we're talking about Ron as well. So that could work for you. And even just the idea of reducing your expenses. If you've got a group of notaries that you work with, and like Ronnie was saying, sharing the phone line, sharing the workload in order to keep a client. You know, you can only say, no, I can't do that so many times, and they're off. They're down the road. They're not going to be calling you again because they're going to say, dang, the last 3 times I called him, he wasn't available. So I'm not even going to bother with him. I'm moving on. Okay. So it helps you keep your clients as well. And how about splitting expenses when you buy things in bulk? How about, you know, a pallet of paper from Costco that you split with 4 other notaries? Things like that can really help you in the process.
Yes, and you know, when it comes to down, we've actually done that before, splitting large bulk items like paper or pens and all of those things, formulating a group for that. The one thing that I want to put in on is, you know, we all live 30, 60, 90 days behind, self-included. So we always have to live, you know, for our money coming in. But, you know, scheduling out, saying, hey, this is the day we're going to make our purchase. If you'd like to be in on that purchase, you need to do it. I would not get into loaning another notary money. You know, don't go down that route. I've done that and you probably will never see it and you can make some enemies. But splitting that cost, this is the day we're going to do it. And just tell the group, you know, if it's 4 people in this day, then it's going to be this much. If it's 2 people in this day, it's going to be this much. But we're going to make the purchase at 4:30. I need it Venmoed to me by that time. That's a really great way to handle it, to avoid creating any enemies in when it comes to splitting cost. But I'll tell you guys, if you add up everything that you can actually split with each other on cost, you know, just 5 notaries, just 3 notaries, you will save so much money on just those costs alone. And our next newsletter, by the way, we're actually posting the newsletters now as community blogs on Notary Stars. Our last one was 5 tips on how to increase your notary business. This was one of the tips. It just happened to line up with what we were doing today. But our next one is going to be how to save costs as a business owner. This is one of the ways it ties into both topics, increasing your notary business and saving on costs, which are really big topics right now in the industry. We couldn't have planned Notary Stars Unlimited any better with the topics that we came out for the 12 months. And I didn't know, we set it up as if you were looking at your business for a year. But with the pandemic and the way things have changed and interest rates going higher and gas rates going higher, these topics right now are even more important than we thought they were going to be. We thought this would just fit into your business. These are actually kind of dire topics at the moment.
So you're psychic, is that what you're saying? You have a crystal ball?
No, I just say be careful what you write down on paper because it might become true. You know, the power of intention is really strong.
Yeah.
So I want to ask if there's anybody on the call today that actually already works or operates as a team. And I see a lot of people from Washington here. I will tell you, I know for a fact there are a lot of local Washington groups that have already been formulated. And I will avoid saying why, but Washington's pretty aggressive when it comes to signing agencies. And I know I compete in that market. So there are small groups that fight against signing agencies coming in and taking all of their business away from them. Are there anybody on the call that actually already participates as a group of notaries that operate that way?
You've got a couple of people in the chat. Jennifer Schmidt says she doesn't have a team, but she has a backup. So if she, I'm assuming, Jennifer, if you want to unmute and let us know exactly how that works for you, is this just somebody that you can refer orders to or direct notary work to somebody when you're not available? And I think you're going to have to put it on gallery so I can see where she's at.
Hi.
There you go.
Hi. Yeah, I'm out in Monterey, and when I started, I reached out to a few people and only one notary answered the call. We had lunch, got along splendidly, and now we refer to each other. And I even pulled her into a side hustle that I do, and we back each other up for the side hustle and notary work. So it's worked out really well.
That's awesome.
I love that. And, you know, Miss Jennifer, that brings me to, you said I'm the backup, or in the chat, you said, you know, I'm a backup notary. That is an excellent way for you to fill up your calendar, is to cover another notary while they're on vacation. And unlimiting sales pitches, if you're happy with your signing agency, we're so great, but let us be your backup. Because sometimes we can do what you can't do. Or I hear stories of signing agencies saying, we're closed for 3 days. You know, you have to put in all your orders and it's on autopilot. We don't do that at Unlimiting. So we always say, let us be your backup. And we have a handful of clients that use us only when their good service is done. And I love those days because we get extra revenue for the month. I would say that you can also propose agreements with other notaries saying, I won't go after your business if you want me to watch you for vacation. And you won't go after my business if I have you watch my clients for vacation.
That's actually what we do, the two of us. And we've put a meetup for this week to hopefully come to see other notaries that would like to participate as well. We put each other's info on our websites and on our phones when we're out of town or on vacation. So that's what we're looking to do.
So you have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Miss Beth.
I was going to move on if you're ready.
Oh yeah, I was just saying it was brilliant.
Oh, Melissa Dominguez in the chat was making mention that most signing services say not to give their orders to another person. And that's true. Do you want to elaborate on that?
Absolutely. This is a really great topic. And Beth and I actually talked about this. Just so you guys know, I'm always sliding into third. I just had a shower right before I got to this episode because it's been really busy running two companies. Signing services don't allow you to refer out business or manage other companies. And you can get a lot of trouble and burn, especially if your goal is to become a signing agency, you can burn yourself before that actually happens. So when you're working with signing services, this is how it works. So there were times where we had shared our calendars. I think at this point we were like 8 people. We shared our calendars. And if I needed to go somewhere, there was a time I was in the hospital for 3 days, but I was like, I'll be out and just schedule me. Like, just give me 2 hours in between each appointment like I would do. And other notaries would take my calls while I was out of area or out of commission or getting a surgery. Because you guys know I was ran over by a car and had to, you know, formulate a signing agency in order to survive. But other people can take your calls, and when they call, they just say, are you available? And if you have 5 notaries that you're scheduling for, you can come up with a pseudo very quick script. You know, I'm just calling out the first name on the order. Hi, this is Gloria G. You know, I'm scheduling for all of these notaries. Which notary are you looking for? I'm going to check their calendar and get it on their calendar. And then you can say, yep, they're available. I'm going to put it in. You guys can work together that way, but you can't take the order for each one of them. You can't give it to another notary because their calendar is free. You need to determine which notary it is. And if you're a good notary and you're busy, no signing service is going to say, they're going to be like, wow, they have a scheduling service. They're so busy. You're not going to turn them off. But when you can also take your text message orders and all of those things, and you just want to make sure you update your calendar and have a good sharing way of doing that so that your calendar gets blocked in case that one person picking up the phone does it. So like AmRock implemented by a lot of notaries saying we need to be able to add it to our calendar years ago. They used to not have the add to calendar feature, even though it had been around for a long time. They were the last man standing when it came to that. You could add your orders to the calendar, and then the person scheduling sees that, and you can pay for higher upgrades for calendar syncing where it's within 15 seconds. Those are things that you have to look into when you do formulate a group. But yeah, you can't manage out signing service business, but you can manage out direct title business. And, you know, our last episode was direct business. And all of you, I just want to plug this right now, and general notary work, all of you should be trying for direct business. You know, we've been talking a lot more about direct business at Notary Stars. If you're not going for it, maybe this is the time to formulate a team and get that team member that will go get it for you. And you can just design the website or do the business cards or put that all together. Went off on a tangent there, but it was a good time to plug it.
You have Angie, and I can't pronounce her last name. It's Angie O. Said she's part of a team. Angie, would you like to raise your hand so we can find you in the gallery? Unmute and tell us how your team is structured.
I'm also looking forward to, was it Angie Parks, Angela Parks, or Angie?
Angie O'Connor.
We're working on pronouncing that properly, but I just an invitation to, there we go. Hi, Miss Angie.
Hello, no worries. It's actually Angie Okanji,
There we go.
and I just go by Angie O. Thank you.
See?
Well, one of the
The first
people,
time, didn't I?
just about, almost. One of the other young, I'm sorry, hold on one second. One of the other young ladies that's on here, Nashonda, we're part of a team here in Webster. We have a team of notaries, so when one is unable to do a signing or work, they pass it along and ask anybody free as far as witnessing goes as well. We collaborate with each other. We actually, excuse me, my dog is upset. He wants to go in the house. We collaborate. We just were together on last Friday to just brush up on some things that we need to learn as notaries. There are some seasoned notaries and there are some new notaries. I'm a new notary. I was just commissioned in January. And so this was all interesting to me last summer, but I didn't start until January. So learning, I'm like a sponge. And I'm glad someone had told me about this tonight, so.
Thank you for sharing that. You know, guys, I want to also point out to you, I'm still working on teamwork, right? Unlimited Ink, the reason it's called Unlimited Ink is because I've always said, together, we're unlimited. And that's my signing agency. Notary Stars is a totally different thing. I just started piloting, and Miss Beth is actually one of the pilots, because I keep so much of her time. She still has her listings active and she can't go do the orders. And she's one of, I think it's about 10 that I've divided the city again. And Unlimited Ink Notary has a booking engine on the website. And Arizona, there's a finite amount of money we can charge, but she's usually working for you guys here at Notary Stars, and she gets tons because she lives in a retirement community. Well, she doesn't, but she lives close to one. And she gets tons of calls, and you know, she'll do them after hours or run up and do them. And I don't know why, because we pay her enough, but she loves to help her community. And I gave her a booking engine, and now it's on her phone or on her computer. It's a link. It's the same booking engine that's on Unlimited Ink Notary. And I said, hey, Miss Beth, when you get a call, if you can't take it or you don't want to take it, why don't you enter it in? And I branded the receipt for her business. So it will be coming from her as if, and she's just telling them, I'm going to manage that notary to come to you. And then I've done it with, we're working our way up to 8. I think we have about 5 right now piloting it. But I'm working to bring notaries in to schedule anything that they can't do into Unlimited Ink. They get a commission off of it. It's not much, but it's better than saying go somewhere else. And so that's another way that I'm working to still work with other people, I call these notaries and I explain to them, we can either go and service them right, and it can be branded for you, and you can say that you're managing the notary, even though Unlimited Ink is. And you can bring that client back to you because the receipt's going to be you, it's going to be everything, but we're going to handle all the questions, the scan back reviews, all of that stuff. But you get the money and you get something for it. Because any of you that pay for any amount of advertising, if you get $10 back, it's better than nothing. And it only takes a few minutes to schedule an order into Unlimited Ink, and then we take care of it from there. I see Miss Melissa's got her hand raised there.
Yes, this reminds me, I got a email a couple weeks ago from somebody in San Diego area, and they were asking me if I wanted to kind of do this and then pay them $25 for each referral that they gave me, and sign a contract. But I didn't want to sign a contract. It just seemed a little funny to me, and then I told her, well, with the, you know, $75 or $100 offers, I don't know that would even be cost effective.
So, here's the thing. I own a signing agency, so I pay notaries. They don't pay me. Notary Stars is different because it's about training. Of course, you guys pay into the training and all of those things. This is a free event that we do. But nobody pays me for business. They pay me for helping them with marketing. They pay me to help them with learning, but I pay notaries to work with me. So that sounds a little fishy for me for paying for a referral. That sounds a little thumbtacky to me. Not a fan.
Yeah, sounds a little underhanded.
I'm not a fan of thumbtack or anything like that.
Yeah.
And she went back on mute, so I'm gonna send that right there because I see her talking. Miss Melissa.
It was actually a notary, I think. That's what I think. I don't think she was an agency or anything.
Yeah, I don't. Because here's the thing: if you pay for a lead, even our free members at Notary Stars don't pay for leads. Like they pay $10 for their verification, and then they don't pay for a lead. I could charge them for a lead, but what if that lead doesn't pan out? $25 is really expensive.
Yeah.
That's like Google. That's more than Google Ads would charge you for somebody to click on your ad. So no, $25. If they said, hey, I'll give you I'll give you 100 leads of real leads, and it was $3 a lead, I might try it, but I'm not doing $25 a lead. No.
Definitely not signing a contract. I can't imagine what that contract says, Melissa. So your little spidey sense got activated there, and it was a good thing you kind of backpedaled out of that little thing. I don't know that would have been a situation you wanted to find yourself in.
Yeah. Ms. Beth, do we have more questions in the chat? Because we're getting close to the end of the hour here, and I want to make sure we help anybody that might have questions.
There's no questions, but there's two comments here from two individuals. Nashonda Burke, we know Nashonda, we still have to get with Nashonda on her community tip thing that we're doing. Hashtag in a minute. And then another one from Kirsten, and both of them are making comment that they have kind of a network, not necessarily a referral, but a network of people that they share work and train together and refer business, mostly general notary work, I'm assuming, that they can't oblige the client, they'll refer it out to them. So Kirsten or Nashonda, either one of you want to raise your hands and just kind of give us an idea of how you're structuring that, how it works for you? There we go. Kirsten's hand is up. See if I can.
There we go. I accept that request.
Thank you. I don't know, just because I'm in Casa Grande, and then Anise is up in Mesa, Pamela's in Chandler, so we kind of have three different areas of the valley, or not so valley with me, to take in a lot of different jobs. I know I've gotten some notary work that down here that they needed someone to come up into the valley. And I was like, well, you know, I can charge you that huge mileage fee, but I also have someone up in the valley, you know, if you like to take it. So, I mean, that's helping the client not have to pay as much, though it would have been nice to get all that money, but it was also easier for them to just, you know, be like 10 minutes away, whereas I was 45 to an hour away. So, and then we're constantly in contact every day. Pretty sure Beth is sick of seeing us in training.
Ever? Never.
But, and we're always trying to find something that we can do to get business for each other and ourselves at the same time.
Good job.
You know, and I want to tell you something about that model. And I learned this. So if you guys, for anybody in Arizona, if you were lucky enough to work with Cassie Fletcher, she was one of the notaries of the year from the NNA. But that's not her claim to fame. Her claim to fame was she was all over it. And she was a busy notary. She's now retired. But if you were lucky enough to have worked with her, she sent me so much business 6 or 7 years ago because she liked me. She came to all my events back when I was formulating my little group, and she didn't want to be a part of my group, but she would send us our group business because she was too busy to do it, and she was on the verge of retiring. And I'm very happy for her now. I need to check in with her, but she was amazing. Her listings are still out there. But she did tap me on the shoulder one day and she said, Ronnie, I've sent you 20 orders this month. And whether they pan out or not, you've sent me nothing. I'm on the west side, you're on the east side. Why doesn't it work both ways? And that was an aha moment for me in formulating a group. You do need to reciprocate for people who send you business, and you need to work with people who reciprocate. You can't be the all-time referrer, and you can't always be the one to receive. You know, it's a give and take. Formulating a group or a team, it needs to be a group effort. And that's why you need more than one, because one person can go through everyone else's listings one time and make sure that they're all set up to receive those inquiries. But you want to be fair about it.
For sure. No poaching.
Any more questions in the chat, Miss Beth?
Let's see. Ingrid Burwell made a comment. I have a group of notaries that's formed a Marco Polo group where we share tips, info, stories, etc. We text if things need to be answered right away and meet occasionally as schedule permits. So that's a good networking group for sure.
I think that's a great networking group. And then I see Miss Kirsten raised her hand again. I just want to check on her.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I recently also started a Facebook group for notaries in my city for general notary work, because a lot of times I'll get calls and I am unable to get to them. And I'll say, but hey, I've got, would you like the numbers of some other mobile notaries that can be sent out to you? And we've done that to each other as well. But in our group, I have, you know, I've put in the new laws, I put in the different trainings, and we have a spreadsheet with all of our information so we can contact and send it out to other clients. And it's been really, really helpful knowing that though I might not be able to help that client, I know someone who can.
You know, I have to tell you what would work really great for you. There are two products out there that work really great for notaries. We used a product called Voxer. Facebook is really hard because you have to actually log into Facebook and you don't know if it's a notification for a referral or not from that group because all the text messages from Facebook sound the same. Voxer is a way to walkie-talkie, and you can just like post and say, hey, got a signing come up, or you know, whatever, can anybody help this? And it goes out to everybody in that group. Or WhatsApp. You can create groups in WhatsApp, and most Americans don't use WhatsApp. If you have foreign friends or people that come from Mexico, you probably have WhatsApp to communicate with them when they're out of the country, or if you have family that travels out, you may have it, but you can create a group on WhatsApp. One of those two products are really great for notaries that want to create groups. You can use the Facebook group to post and get information, but for quick communication to make sure that it's identified as this is a possible order that is in your area, Voxer or WhatsApp are really two great products.
WhatsApp's amazing. I've used that. And you can also then do like a group chat, like a group call, video call, or just audio call at the same time. So it's really helpful.
Yeah, actually, I wish everybody used WhatsApp, but we don't. Any more questions, Miss Beth? Because I want to wrap this up. There's something, before we go, guys, I do want to share something with you. I will be off camera. Sorry for the people watching the replays, but there is something going on in our industry that, and I'm not going to try to sell you anything. There is something going on in our industry that you probably need to be aware of, and I'm going to try to spearhead it for all of us, but I may need your help, and I want to share it with you, and it'll only take a moment, but you won't be happy about it. Do we have any questions from anybody else in the chat at the moment?
No, you're good.
All right, let's go ahead and do our signature wave. And if you want to stick around for just a minute or two, I want to share something with you that you probably need to know about as a notary. I'm going to remove all spotlight so we can get that gallery view there. And if you are not naked and you are not eating your sandwich or stuff in your face at the moment, I know it's late on the East Coast, let's turn on those cameras and give our signature wave. Wave to yourself if you want to watch the replay. Wave to the future notaries that will be coming to watch these replays. I'm scrolling through. I still see cameras turning on. I'm waiting for that third page and fifth page to turn on their cameras. We really appreciate you for tuning in tonight. Miss Beth, how do we say it when you get to where you're going?
When you get to where you're going in your notary career, make sure you remember to reach back, grab another notary, and bring them along with you. Thanks, guys.
All right. Y'all all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next month. Stick around after the recording stops if you want to know about something that's affecting you.